It's been keeping me up all night. It's all wrong. It's so I'm just doing all I can to make it right. You ask me why I stand up and fight. I do it for love. I do it for freedom. Without the love, life would have no meaning. Oh, my sisters, oh, my brothers, working man and all the single mothers, for a country whose eyes are getting colder. It's gonna take a lot more of us civilian soldiers. We trust our country to a higher power, keep us strong in our darkest hour. Some want to win, some try to fail. For all the guilty ones, justice will prevail. They might think we're all half asleep, following their trail of defeat. That's why we fight to keep our freedom. Freedom, freedom, we do it for love, we do it for freedom. Without the love, life would have no meaning. It's for our sisters, for our brothers, the working man and all the single mothers, for a country whose eyes are getting colder. It's gonna take a lot more of us civilian soldiers. Civilian no meaning. It's for our sisters, for our brothers, the working men and all the single mothers. United we roll, rolling for freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Talking about love for our brothers, the working man and all the single mothers. We do it for love. We do it for freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom.
Well, guys, once again, back for another roll. Sounds like it's a convoy season again. I just want to bring everybody up to snuff on what's going on with us. Tonight, I told you, I promised everybody that we're going to have everybody in here. So once again, I want everybody, I don't care. There says 1,200 people in there. Let's get 1,200 shares going across this thing right now. Everybody needs to share this out because, yes, we know that stupid Trudeau, their goddamn government, everything that they've done, flip-flop. They couldn't even tie their freaking shoes if they even had a personal person to tie their fucking shoes. Okay? So just understand, this is the typical government tactic. Oh, look at, we're sorry, truckers, don't throw us under the bus. We're going to get your mandates lifted. And then they find out that we're coming anyway, and they say, well, fine, fuck it. You guys are going to have your mandates still in place. We know about it, guys. We've heard it. We've saw it. We've seen what they're doing. We know what's going on. Number one thing, ladies and gentlemen, is I got to stress to everybody in this is, guess what? We knew that they were going to do this. We know this. We were going anyway. This convoy was rolling anyway because there's no reason why anybody should be treated like a fucking plague to go in and get a coffee. When these truckers are on the road, they need a shower, they need food, they need lodgings, they need whatever, and they can't go in because they won't put a poison in their body. Well, guess what? It's not just the truckers. It's for everybody else as well. You know, everybody else across Canada who decides, no, my body, my choice. We say, no, we're not going to do that. You know what? That should not treat us like parasites. The last leader of a country that did that was Adolf Hitler, and look how that turned out. Well, we're not going to allow that to happen. Not on my watch and not on these people's watches. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to some of the people tonight. I'm going to introduce you into some of the people that have made some fucking stink about this because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And well, first of all, without any doubt, I'm going to bring in everybody, and then we got a surprise guest. And everybody, the guest that's going to come in last, you're going to recognize him. You're going to know who he is. And I hope that everybody's jaws hit the floor when he does, because you're going to see what happens when you can come together and everybody can sit there and say, you know what? We can all work together. We can all unite. We can all join forces. So without further ado, I want to bring in Bridget Belton. Bridget, say hello to the folks.
Hey, guys.
So Bridget is one of the organizers. Bridget, you're handling the Ontario section?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I've got Sarnia that I will be at January 23rd, and we meet at 8 a.m. at Exit 25 on the 402, and we've got Windsor that ADT Trucking will be heading up in Windsor, meeting in on Cromber, Exit 9 on the 401.
Okay, so that's Bridget Belton. The next one, well, you know, he's become a legend, the myth. We like to call him Big Red is his name. Big Red, once again, say hello to Christopher. Christopher, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, bud. How are you tonight?
We're making a roll. You know, Christopher's the one who's on the TikTok, guys, who's kind of become an overnight sensation. And where are you right now, Chris?
Sitting in Fargo, North Dakota, waiting for a snowstorm to hit us. I got my co-pilot here, Zippy, waiting to over the camera.
Oh, yeah.
We're here.
He's running watch. Hey, he's looking for everybody. Oh, isn't that cute? That's the cutest thing in the world. All right, so we've got Chris, the legend, the overnight sensation on TikTok. We've got Bridget, his co-star, his co-pilot, is in the top right here. And now I want to bring in Joe Jansen. Joe is from Manitoba. Joe's running the Manitoba side of things. So say hello to Joe.
Hi.
How's it going, Joe?
Good.
I know you guys aren't keen on the camera stuff, and that's okay. This is just to get everybody out there to see who everybody is. Joe, how are you playing into this now? Just give a little brief introduction.
Well, on the 23rd on Sunday, we're going to be just rounding up truck drivers, bobtail, in Morris, Manitoba. And at 9 a.m. on the 24th, Monday, we're going to roll out at 9 a.m. and we're going to meet other trucks and just passenger vehicles, healthcare workers. There's Monstrosity Burger in Winnipeg that's risking $1 million in fines. They're in full support, and they're letting in non-vaxxed, vaxxed, you name it. They're letting anybody in the restaurant, and they're in full support of everything. They're going to meet at Perimeter Highway and 75 westbound lanes. So we're going to make a full loop around Winnipeg to show everybody what we're about. And we're going to hit Portage Avenue. We're going downtown Parliament, and we're parking. And I have more than 10 trucking companies backing this up in Manitoba. Wow. This is going to be awesome.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait.
And you know, Joe's excited for this. Joe also has a partner in crime who's giving him a hand. This gentleman's also, like Chris, like Bridget, in our trucks right now. We're going to bring Dale in. Dale Enns is another fellow trucker who's giving Joe a hand out in Manitoba. Let's say hi to Joe or Dale. How's it going, Dale?
Good, and you?
Oh, we're just ducky. Where are you right now?
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, you're right up the road for me. Same with Bridget. Bridget's in Edmonton, too. Wow.
I'm the pilot, buddy. Come see me, Pembina.
Why am I in the U.S. right now? Come on.
Yeah. Well, you're the brave one that's stuck over there in Fargo. You know that very much. You know, Chris, you're doing the heavy hauling, wide loads down there. And then, you know, Dale's helping Joe out. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand these guys are working. They're working right now. You know, Bridget's stuck in Edmonton right now. She told me her story. They're having a hard time getting her a load out of Edmonton. She's going through her own. You got one now? Oh, I got one.
I got the money on the card. We're heading to Olds, Alberta to pick up tomorrow, and then heading down to Texas, Laredo.
I wish I could go. I wish I could
My
go
last flip and load.
Her last load. So, ladies and gentlemen, these people are truck drivers that are working right now. Joe's working, Dale's working, Bridget, Chris, they're all working right now. But you know what? They've had enough. They've had enough of doing what they're doing and being, you know, everybody looks at truckers like, oh, yeah, just a fucking stupid trucker. I'll tell you right now, I drove truck for a lot of years, a lot of off-road trucking, heavy hauling in the oil and gas industry. This is the most stressful job out there. When you deal with the people on the highways, people don't give you enough passing spots. You know, they brake check you and all this. These people are considered professional drivers for a reason. They're professional drivers because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have your food on your shelves. But now they've had enough. And now you see the government flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. They're still not backing out, guys. We're not backing out. But first, last and foremost, I want to bring in is another gentleman. And if you guys remember, I want to bring this up to you guys because him and I were part of something. And if you all remember this, just listen to those horns. When we did this the last time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing him in. And you'll all be familiar with who he is. Hang on a second. I'm just going to pause that, and say hello to James Bowder from Canada Unity. Hey, James, how's it going?
I'm doing so good, Pat. Thank you so much. Bridget, Chris, Dale, Joe, and the rest of Canada, it is such an exciting time in our lives to be together in unity. And it's time for Convoy, and it's time for Convoy. Very, very excited to be here.
And James and I are you know, we're working together to help you guys work together. We know you guys are working hard and doing what you guys got to do to keep your bread and butter on your tables for your families. In the background, there'll be myself and James and a couple other people that are going to work together. We're all working together. And this is something, ladies and gentlemen, that you all don't know is, you know, we've done this before.
Yeah.
And I can't express to you guys when this opportunity came, and I just want to thank all you guys, Bridget, Chris, Joe, Dale, and to the other gentlemen that's not in the room right now. I want to express to everybody right now, this was the most greatest time of my life that I ever got to partake in something like this. The feeling you get to watch a country cheer you on down the highway as you're honking horns. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you see this, and I'm going to bring it back up again, here it is, right across, right here, that's Trudeau's office. And I'll tell you, when he heard this, when he hears those horns, he goes a-running. And we lined that up all the way across. We lined it up right in front of Justin Trudeau. Guys, it's not just a convoy. And this is something I'm going to let everybody else chime in. I'm going to step back out of this. I'm going to let these guys tell you what the plan is and what they're going to do. So I don't know who wants to take the step. Joe, you mentioned that you're going to circle Perimeter Highway in Manitoba. Are you coming into Ottawa with us?
Well, I was actually just educated on it today, actually.
Okay.
So, is this happening right after?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'd like to, and I know there was I talked to a guy this evening on it, and they would like to join too. So yeah, I mean, we're in, we're going, and let's make it happen.
Absolutely. We've got actually people from the former convoy are now getting a hold of me from the last convoy. We've got Jason LeBlanc He's a huge egg guy out of south of Estevan. They just want to know some direction and what we're going to do it, how we're going to do this. And Dale, are you coming with us as well?
There is a possibility. We'll see.
There is a possibility.
It depends if Joel lets me go.
Perfect. Chris, we know Chris is going.
You know what? After the turn of events last night with Trudeau coming out and saying that we're gonna exempt us, and now this morning or this afternoon turning the events around again, I'm on my way to Ottawa next week. I don't give a shit. In 2 weeks, it's time.
Well, and you were very vocal, Chris, on your TikToks. You're in the same boat as I am. Enough is enough. This has been going on for way too long. We can't do this anymore. Bridget, you're taking a load to Texas, but I know where you're coming out.
Even if my load is not delivered by the 23rd, I will drop that trailer at that exit because I don't cross at Windsor anymore. And I will drop it there, and I will be there. If I'm not there on time, my husband, who's a 26-year-old trucker, will be leading it in my pickup truck, but we will be going. I will get there somehow, come heck or high water. And I am so excited that Chris is coming to Ottawa because I have a surprise for you.
What?
Ooh, surprises. Ooh.
Come on, I want some turtles.
You bring me turtles, and I'll get you the surprise.
And well, you know, we got James in here, and James, why don't you tell everybody what you've been doing in Southern Ontario the last little while?
Well, that's let's see here. Back in September, we left Calgary and hit our way down the road, did a convoy down there, and landed in Ottawa. Had an amazing journey in discovering the quest for unity started taking place across Ontario. We started going from community to community to community and reaching out, for example, Peterborough, Kingston with Jack Tuesdays there, and just all these beautiful businesses that were getting hit nonstop with all these atrocious fines. Communities trying really, really hard to connect the dots and protect each other. And so there was a need to bring unity to these communities. And you know, my background doing convoys with Pat, and you know, it got into my blood that you know, convoys was a good message and a good delivery platform to get communities united together. So here we are down in Ontario. We did a lot of convoys nonstop. It was amazing to see what's happening in Ontario, and starting in Quebec, but really in Ontario. There's so many communities now that can say they're connected via what we brought in doing the convoys. And why did we do the convoy? We also we put together a very important document called the Memorandum of Understanding that addresses all the mandates that are impacting Canada all across the board. This vax passport, for example, that's an unlawful mandate. And we talked about this till we're blue in the face, but eventually you need to get some actions, right? And action started coming forward. We went to Ottawa collectively as a group, and we did things that I never thought in my wildest dreams that we could do. Who here, you know, in the comments, December 8th, 9th, and 10th, we were parked in front of Justin Trudeau's house with a convoy.
Oh, Dale just dropped out again.
And the thing about that is that we did it with the police, the Ottawa Police Service. We've got the support of Ottawa Police Services. We've got the support of Ontario Police Services because we have a lawful document online that Canada has signed on and endorsed. It's new in the makings, but there's over 50,000 signatures on the MOU and climbing. It is our lawful freedom of choice period, full stop. That's what we work on. And we're not taking these mandates anymore because they violate the laws.
That's right.
So this is something that we've been focusing on, is uniting our communities together, convoy style. It's been successful. And I talked to OPP today, and they are extremely excited and very welcoming and looking forward to partnering up with us again and making sure that we have a good event. They're going to make every effort available to assist. Okay.
Well, they kind of have no choice the same way. So I'll give you guys, and I say that in light, guys, but I'm going to tell you something. When we were rolling across from Regina, we had just left Regina. We got calls on the way, and the OPP were putting up their scales, the lights on the scales. And if you're a trucker, and I'm sure these men and women in here know the scales right on the other side of the Ontario border. When we were coming in, they were telling us, no, you guys aren't coming. You guys aren't coming. You guys all got to stop in the scales. And we were like, no, we're coming. You have no choice. You have to let us through. We're not stopping. We could see the scales in the distance. We could see the lights on, and we were all radioing on our units. We were all radioing, and we were all like, they're not going to let us go. They're not going to let us go. And then all of a sudden, boom, the lights went off right as we were crossing. And you know what? They came and met us. It was kind of nerve-wracking. We got to Kenora, and they came to meet us, and they went to say, okay, guys, we're going to work with you. All right, what do you need from us? So what I'm trying to say is we're not going into this aggressively to cause a problem. We're going into this as people who have just had enough. And we're not going to leave until it's done. But I'm also going to stress this much. When you see what's coming and they see how many people we have behind us, they have no choice but to bend their knee for a change. And something that we accomplished, ladies and gentlemen, when we did do this convoy in the past, Trudeau had put in Bill C-69, which is the anti-pipeline moratorium. As soon as we left, they lifted the pipelines. That's why we've got the TMX going in now. That's why we've got the LNG up north going in now. They approved them. So what I'm going to show you guys, and I'm just going to drop this in here, and I know I'm kind of running off on this, James. I didn't mean to steal some of your thunder on this. I just want people to understand and see what this looks like from a larger scale. And this was us pulling into Pembroke. The amount of support, you can see all the cars parked around the side of the snowbank. The amount of support that we got rolling across the country. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit as we watch it. The amount of support that we were given by the people. People think, oh no, everybody's against you. They're not against you. People are just looking for guidance. They're looking for help. They're looking for somebody to stand up behind them and show them, hey, you know what? We got your back. And I'm telling you guys, this is how we get things done. We're going to have to show the rest of the country. At one point, this lineup of trucks, it went 12 kilometers bumper to bumper, ladies and gentlemen. It was absolutely phenomenal. And the amount of support, people were waiting on the side of the highways to cheer us on. And when we got to Ottawa, we find out that Justin Trudeau and his Liberal government hired 2,000 anti-protesters to meet us at the gates. And we ended up, at the end, I ended up personally jumping the line of 148 police officers and crossing the line and shaking hands with these people and saying, look we support what you're doing. This isn't something about one thing and one thing only. And these truck drivers here, ladies and gentlemen, my hat's off to these guys. To Joe, to Chris, to Bridget, to Dale, to all you other truck drivers out there. We've got your backs. We are going to bring a nation behind us to help you guys help us.
Pat, if I can jump in for a second.
Yes, sir.
All my TikTok videos, I'm almost overwhelmed with how much positive reaction. When I look through the threads and the comments and all that, and I try to get to everybody that sends me a message, it's a little tricky. there's so much positivity. There's so many people out there that are saying we need somebody to lead this. We need somebody to stand up for us. We need somebody to do this. It needs to be done. And it drives a guy even more when you see that kind of positivity.
Well, I say it this much, guys. I wouldn't be where I'm at with the platform that I have had we never done this convoy. This is because of what we did that I have the position that I'm at now, and now I'm paying it forward. And now I want to make sure that everybody has that opportunity, like you said, that you guys need that support without our truck driving industry. If you guys were to pull the pins and set the maxis right now, within 48 hours, we would be brother on brother for a loaf of bread. And people they just don't clue into that. No. They take you guys for granted. So now it's time to show their support for you guys. And like I said, we'll get into details. James has routes are going around. We're going to do 2 routes, correct, Bridget? We're going to do a southern route.
Three
routes.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, there's 3 routes now.
Yep.
Where's the 3rd route? Because I was hoping for Fort Erie.
Nova Scotia, PEI, the Easterners, and Quebec and Montreal. You can't leave out Quebec. They're coming.
That's awesome.
So that'll be the east to west route. Then we've got Pat and myself that are going to be involved for the west to east route. And then Bridget, you are going to be the south to Ottawa route. With help from Stephen and James and the group that's down south there. So, we're going to have a pretty all points covered.
Perfect.
It's going to take us a couple of days, though, to go through from, for all those that are tuning in and watching, it's going to take us as an organizational group to sit down offline kind of thing and go through the start, stop. We've got Vancouver to Nova Scotia. Okay, so all of these interconnecting communities, we need to route map all of that. That's also trucker friendly so that your electronic logs all match up and so on and so forth. And when we're in agreement on that as a group, then we will post all of this on Canada Unity platform there so that you can go there and you'll have one point of reference. All the route information's there. From there, we'll also have the start, stop, and timing and so on and so forth. Where we're going to be shutting down for the night is going to be key, right? Because then that's also, we got to figure out, do we need hotels? What are we all looking at logistically from that? And then when do we start the next morning? Fuel. There's a lot of things that come from this. And every time we stop for the night, usually the local community, if we, remember Pat, it was so amazing, the support that comes from the local communities everywhere we're stopping for fuel stops and so on and so forth. We know that the faster we can get that information publicly released and online in a central place, the rest of Canada can then start organizing and start connecting the dots on their own local level, right? So that's going to take us at least 2-3 days to really fine tune that and get it up and posted online, okay?
Well, I got Martin Broadman just put his thing in here. Anyone from the East, let's do this in unity. Let's make a stand for the good. East Convoy, contact Martin at Canada-unity.com. He's got that end of the logistics things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you got to remember it takes us a few days to get there. So the date that we're rolling, confirmed, is the 24th or 23rd, I mean.
23rd from Vancouver. They're going to be the first ones really to start it is Vancouver because they're the farthest away.
Right. To be in Calgary for the 24th.
Correct.
And then the 24th will roll from Calgary on the 24th of January. And then it'll be a day, and I believe we're going to stick to the same route, James?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so say again, Chris?
Highway number 1 all the way across then?
Highway number 1 all the way across, and the way it worked out, and this is just tentative, guys. So, like you said, the 23rd we start out in Vancouver to Calgary. From Calgary, will start on the 24th. And I believe when we did it the last time, if we stick to the same route, we stopped in Regina on the night of the 24th.
Yep.
That was our first stop. Then from Regina, we got to Kenora. That was our second stop. That's where we'll meet up with Joe in outside of Winnipeg. Joe and them will be doing their perimeters.
I thought
perimeter highways.
We stopped in Winnipeg for the night, though.
Yeah, no, we didn't stop in Winnipeg. We stopped in Kenora.
Oh, right.
There's that. It starts with an H. That big truck stop outside of Winnipeg on the west side of Winnipeg, Hennessy or Hensley.
Right. Yep.
Oh yeah.
There's that big flying J. That's where Trucker Mama, somebody put gas in her diesel. We had to drop the tank.
Oh,
we had to drop the tank right in the parking lot. So yeah, we ran into some hiccups, but that's where your fuel stop will be, and then we travel. We'll be able to link right with Joe and them as they're coming around the highway on perimeter. As we come in, I think the perimeter highway, they both match at that one point. Am I wrong, Joe?
Perimeter and at Headingley,
Headingley, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll link up. We'll be able to link right up with them, and then we can, while they're doing their thing, we should be, if everything goes right and everybody comes in from, the Saskatchewan boys and everybody comes in from there, we'll have quite the friggin' entourage at that point. And then it'll be Kenora, Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, and then the last stop after Sault Ste. Marie was Arnprior, because it's only an 8-hour trek from Arnprior or from Sault Ste. Marie to Ottawa. And Arnprior is only 10 minutes outside. All the while, Bridget and her crew will be raising a stake on the 401, and to believe it or not, that's the one I want to go on. I'm not kidding. I want to be with Bridget and her crew on that 401 highway going too wide. I really do. I really do.
I've seen some videos today of guys parking 4 wide on the 401. Was that a protest today, or was that an accident? Did you see anything?
I saw a video of it. They were trying to say that it was, I thought it was something to do with that, but they said it was a protest, but I think it was an accident.
Shoot, I was hoping so.
And now we've got comments. Hey, when not many people show up in Ottawa, how are you going to feel, Pat? I believe at this point in our play game here, you're going to have a lot of people. The last time we did this, not many people showed up, but not many people heard what was going on. They censored us. They shut us down as we were traveling across. Look at tonight. We've got almost 3,000 people in this live feed right now watching this. We have Hugs Over Mask. We have Hugs Over Mask. We got all the freedom groups that I've been working for the last 3 years of trying to bring everybody together. You think there's not going to be many people there? You're sadly mistaken, my friend. You're going to see.
We're going to give Ottawa the biggest bear hug they've ever seen, ever.
All these people out there, these naysayers that think it can't be done, and why would we even try because it's so hard? Sit at home, sit in your basement, do whatever you got to do, but let us do our thing now because it's our time.
Yes, sir.
I'm tired of that attitude. It pisses me off.
Right? And that just gives us more drive to push and do what we got to do here, Chris.
I'm on it. I think my crew in Swift Current on Sunday at noon, we're going to start. We'll organize. I would like to drive west on Highway number 1 towards Medicine Hat to meet the Calgary crew and the BC crew. We'll hook up with them wherever it takes. We'll turn around in the middle of the highway and we'll join.
I love it. I freaking love it.
I want to roll through my hometown of Swift Current, Saskatchewan strong. Everybody around that community knows my truck. They know what it looks like. She'll be cleaned up and shiny, ready to fly.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love it. You got train horns? We're going to have to get some train horns.
I'm going to have to put some on there. Maybe we'll go to the truck stop and buy a set here.
Yeah, they're only $230. Headingley's got them. That's not a train horn, Bridget. That sounds like a little squeaky horn. But yeah, so now everybody's going to ask
fun.
how we're going to roll this out. What are we going to do for food and lodging? You know what? We're going to work these details out. We're going to work these details out as we go. In the next week or so, they're going to get hashed out. We've got people reaching out to us already that are willing to help in any way possible. When we did this last time, everybody else was like, oh, no, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? You know what? Just let it happen. You're going to see the most amazing outpouring of support for all of these truck drivers. You're going to see people coming out and giving you the biggest hugs. People were making us lunches and passing them on the fly. Okay? People were giving their houses. People were letting people sleep in their houses at nights. You got to understand, when we do this kind of stuff, folks, you get to see the soul of Canada. You get to see what the backbone of this country was built on, and that is the old school, help out your fellow man, help out your neighbor, because we're not alone in this. And I know everybody in here, you know, it seems like a really hard feat to accomplish. But when we got it done, we got it done. And you watch, like James said, the OPP have no choice but to help us. You know, the Ottawa Police Services, they know me by name. I've been there enough freaking times. They come up and they go, Pat, you're going to behave yourself today? When am I not behaving myself? I always behave myself. You know, they know who I am. They know who we are. They're not going to give us a hard time. What I want people to understand, though, is we're not just going there for mandates for just the truckers. Yes, the truckers are a key point to this. The mandates are for every single person out there to be lifted and shoved up Trudeau's ass so frickin' far that he smells what it's like to be not welcomed in a restaurant. I want him to be bleeding out his eyeballs with mandates. And I mean that in the nicest way, Cesis. I'm not being aggressive because they're watching and they're no. I mean that in the nicest Canadian way.
You wish him harm, but you don't wish him harm. I know. I think of the thought every day.
Yeah. But I just want people to understand, we've done this before. We've taken on this arduous task in the past, and it was the most amazing thing in Canadian history. And we have people saying the horns that when we were coming across, you know, the horns sounded like the horns from heaven. It was biblical. Well, now, and I'm saying this in all kindness, and I'm going to come off a little rough, but you all were fucking asleep 5 years ago. Nobody knew that Canada was on a downward spiral. And then all of a sudden we did this trucking convoy. We went across the country, and all of a sudden the whole country woke up to say, hey, I think there's something wrong here. You know what? Now that you're all awake, now is your moment to get on board, get behind these drivers, get behind everybody, and show up. If you say, I don't know what to do, Pat, I don't know how I can put forth the best effort I can. This is your moment. Your moment is to get behind these truck drivers and drive. If you need fuel, I'm sure we'll have fuel for you. We'll pull in behind you and top you up. We help each other out, guys. There's no more sitting on the couch. If you can't make it to this, then we're fucked. And pardon the language, I know it's colorful, but if you can't participate in this, like Chris said, go back in mommy's basement, go back, sit on the couch, and just wait for them to come and pick you up and bring you to wherever you need to go. This is imperative that everybody partakes in this all across the country. You need to partake in this. Oh, look, there we go. We got Jake in here. I just seen it. Hold fast. It will be published in the coming days on Canada Unity. Oh, I thought that was Jake Fast. Sorry, from Fast Trucking out of Saskatchewan. He was a great participant.
Oh, yep. They're the Swift car.
Just, you know, if people don't believe that you guys are helpful, you know, 3 of you knew I was sitting here and stuck looking for a load, and 3 of you offered to help find me a load. So that's no joke. We're here, and I'm finally finding the brother and sisterhood that I've been looking for the last 7 years. It's right here in this room, and we're not going to be bullied or pushed away. And we're going to work together. So it's right here. If you want that brother and sisterhood, it's right here.
Bridget, if you didn't have walls on that trailer, I would have had you load 3 days ago. Like, come on already.
Well, like Chris, I told you to hire me already and just teach me what you know. So what's the problem? Eating turtles?
Look at this.
Turtle thing.
Fargo likes to take my other truck pulls up beside me here. Like, come on, this is good.
There
Well,
you go.
like, hey, you know, you're slacking on the training, buddy.
I need to get that, I know.
I love it. And I can't wait to get on the radios and talk with all you guys again and to get that chatter again. My call sign's Chatterbox. I'll just let you know. Everybody knows me as Chatterbox because I was always on the radios.
I'm
Good.
Gidget because apparently I get myself into stuff like this.
Well, you know what? I just want to say right now, and to Joe, Dale, Chris, Bridget, to all you guys, I'm proud of you guys. I really want you to know that. And I know the rest of the people in this room are proud with you guys. It takes a lot to do this. You guys are putting a lot on the line here. I get it. But you know the severity of it and you know the importance of it. So hats off to you guys. Thank you so much for getting that out there and getting it rolling. And understand that, you know what, from everything, this is going to just build the friendship across Canada again that needs to be done. And thanks, guys. Dale, Bridget, Joe, Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks for the platform. Appreciate it.
You lit that spark here again that we needed. And I know this can be done, you guys, but it's not just rolling to Ottawa and parking the trucks for a couple days. James, give them an idea what's going to partake in Ottawa when we're there. Just an idea. Don't let the cat out of the bag just yet, but give them a little bit of an idea.
Okay, well, you know, let's see here. What is a bear hug detail? Well, we're going to have some fun doing a bunch of convoys all over Ottawa. Okay, we won't mention where, but we're going to have some fun definitely doing a whole different pile of convoy activities. We may potentially convoy over to Justin Trudeau's house. You know, little things like that. May get stuck on a couple of bridges, things like that. We may go over to CBC or CTV and, you know, potentially have a little chit chat with them. Probably we're going to go maskless shopping and maskless dining because we like to do that with the police, just like we did in December. And we've got video evidence of this, by the way, folks. Like, for a whole solid week, the Ottawa Police Service needs to get some credit for doing the beautiful, lawful thing in supporting the MOU that's on. Pat, can I show that on here and bring that
absolutely
up so people understand, you get a gist of the laws? And if those that aren't aware for the first time that these mandates are not lawful, can I bring that up and share this with, I don't know how to share the screen, but 2 seconds.
At the bottom, you've got the share option.
Okay, share
screen.
Okay, share screen. Let's see if I can do this.
So Simone Watson is asking, anybody able to connect Vancouver Island truckers with her for a Victoria truckers gathering on the 28th? So in support, they're going to get a group of truckers on the island to go in support of us getting to Ottawa, and they're going to go and encapsulate their little parliament building in Victoria. So
Awesome.
Simone, we'll get to you. Did it work, James? I don't see nothing yet, buddy. Oh, he froze. I think James is frozen here. But we're not going to leave, ladies and gentlemen. We have demands this time. And it's time the Senate looks at this. You remember, we lost James altogether. So look at it this way, guys. We've got a government that is looking to strip Canadians of their constitutional rights to exist in this country. They're about to friggin' steal our constitutional right. And what we need to do is tell them, we're the ones that hired you. We're also the ones that can fire you. And if you're not going to address our demands, then we're not leaving until you're fired, because it is our duty to make sure that you do your job correctly. Your incompetence is shining through. You don't have that these government officials have been getting away for too long dictating what we can and can't do in this country. And this is one that is absolutely, okay, hang on, James. I'll pull it up. I got the link
If you
there
can
now.
pull that up. I tried to do a screen share, Pat, but like I said, I'm not the techie guy on that stuff. But Canada-unity.com/MOU, that has gotten over 50,000 signatures. And it has been delivered to the Senate already and to the Governor General. And it is very much in line with the lawful mandates that all the truck drivers are looking at having released, okay, as well as all Canadians when it comes to the laws that have been violated with respect to all these mandates. So please take a look at this document. If you, many people probably some know about it already, but there's a lot of folks out there still that have no idea that this exists. And the power behind this document, when we stand up together in Ottawa at the Senate, which, you want some activities that we're going to be doing. We're definitely going to be doing the hashtag sign or resign. Sign the MOU, Canada. Yes, so that we can put pressure on the Senate to end these mandates. The Senate right now is the fastest track Canada-wide. Just to give you an idea, if I was to raise a question, how many people can afford to go and hire a Rocco Galati and put a lawsuit on? And are you going to be successful in getting into court? And so on and so forth. The courts are clogged, packed, jammed, solid. So, yeah, there's a lawful legal approach of suing and all these other things. But to be honest, we're going to be bankrupt before we ever get inside a courtroom. So the quick fast track is to go to the Senate. The Senate's job is to make laws, amend laws, and enforce laws. And inside this document has one of the pivotal things that really nails the law in full spectrum. It's called the Helsinki Act. Inside the Helsinki Act, that's the law that comes from the Nuremberg Code. And many people have heard of the Nuremberg Code, but they haven't heard of the Helsinki Act, which is the law that Canada signed on to as an enforcer. They failed to mention that to us Canadians, but we signed on as a country to enforce discrimination and segregation. The Senate right now can end all of this very quickly by signing on an agreement with the people of Canada, which is you, me, and all of us together collectively, saying, hey, we know that you're violating the laws. It's right here in black and white. And we want you to do your job, Senate, and end this mandate stuff that has, it doesn't back itself up legally. So we keep pushing the envelope. We keep applying pressure to the Senate and to the Governor General. And the more people that are involved behind the movement, the quicker we get our lawful freedom of choice restored in our country and start getting back to some sort of sense of normality. And the only way we're going to do that is coming together in unity, which is something, like I have such respect for those that are just coming forward and showing courage and showing strength for the first time and saying, you know what, this doesn't make sense, but these laws are here and I'm a Canadian and I've got my lawful right. So yeah, this MOU addresses all of that on your behalf. Okay. So also that same website is where we'll be posting all the convoy stuff and everything else with respect to Bear Hug Ottawa. Okay.
So bear hug, when we say bear hugging Ottawa,
it's a loving thing.
It's in love. It's in love.
We're going to give them lots of love.
I don't think Chris is giving them any love.
Well,
I
you
am
know
going to
what?
display the fuck Justin Trudeau thing on the back of my truck with proudness, like I said.
It's
Oh, could we
I
use
look at it this
politicians
way.
as little things behind like cars? You know, tie them to our bumpers.
No violence. No violence.
That's exactly.
If we can't go to work, well, then the politicians shouldn't be able to go to work either.
But they're not. They're going by video because Justin Trudeau's a snowflake and he's afraid to get COVID, don't you know?
Well, maybe they can't. If we can't go eat in a restaurant, maybe nobody else can go eat in a restaurant.
You know, the thing that happened in Kazakhstan was pretty good, hey?
Yeah. Have you seen some of those videos from Kazakhstan that aren't getting released on the internet?
Yeah, they're kind of interesting, aren't they?
Wow.
Australia, like there's so many videos that are, you know, out there that show the crimes that are happening. It's disgusting. And the world is watching what we do on this convoy and what we do in Ottawa, our capital. And that's the snake. That's the you cut the snake's head off, this all falls apart. Their narrative is already tracking.
Underestimating us as Canadians. We're peaceful, loving people, or we were until 2 years ago. And now we're standing up, and I think they went for what they thought was the easiest target, and they started out east thinking that they could get them first because, well, they did vote red. So I'm thinking that's where it's happening because that's where it's happening in the U.S. as well. They've started in the east, and they're going to roll it across the country. It's crazy what they're doing, and it's against the law. That's not what Canada is. That's not what my grandparents came for. I'm firstborn Canadian from Germany. This is crazy.
The story about Saskatchewan, did you guys know that in southern Saskatchewan right now, the school district there has hired a mask marshal to patrol hallways, and when she finds a kid that doesn't have the mask displayed properly, they're kicked out of school and sent home. So in a little town in southern Saskatchewan, I don't want to name any names or the school division or anything like that, this little girl walked home in barefoot and socked feet because she was scared shitless of the masked person. And then we're in winter. This is ridiculous. My mother said if that was my kid and that was my school, I would have went and kicked some serious ass.
That's funny that you said that because I was just told today about the schools in Saskatchewan, and the schools in Saskatchewan are actually bringing unvaccinated students into the principal's office, and the principal is putting the fear of God into these kids and threatening them and bullying them, and it's the adults, it's the teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting so freaking bad out there. You need to start talking. You're right, Chris. Chris, 100% right. You need to start talking to your kids.
I watched my daughter. She worked at Burger King in Swift Current, Saskatchewan at the till, and she was the register girl. And because she didn't have both of the COVID vaccines, she was sent home. She couldn't work. So you got a 16-year-old girl that's in high school that isn't allowed to work anymore. What are you telling her right there? You either follow the government guidelines or you go home.
Right.
These are the people, you, me, everyone that's right here. We worked the last 2 years. They took our tax money willingly, and they gave it to people so they could sit home because they were afraid of air outside. And they hoarded toilet paper, which we brought. They hoarded ibuprofen. They hoarded whatever they could get their hands on. We ran our butts off to resupply. And now they want our money. They want us to live in a cardboard box. They say no. No, sir. That's not happening. Neither are those doctors, those nurses, or the EMS. No, sir.
You were considered essential until this bullshit started. When Trudeau figured he had enough people in place to replace us is what it did.
Well, Chris, you drive like flatbed, so I was driving reefer at the time. I was kind of essential. You're kind of really not.
Bridget? That's what we called for. You're not getting any turtles now, lady.
Yeah, there goes the turtles now.
Oh, come on, but I still have a gift. I still have a surprise for you.
Okay, so we're coming up on the last 5 minutes. What I'd like to do at this point, we only run for an hour usually. Confirmed 24th, 23rd leaving Vancouver. 23rd of January, folks, leaving Vancouver. to meet in Calgary on the 24th, weather depending. Then following through to, we plan to be in Ottawa on January 28th, correct?
Hang on,
Yes.
hang on.
That was the Friday you need to be there. Yes, the 28th.
Yeah, and then we plan to be. Yeah, we'll just let you do
tight.
that.
It's a tight run. It's a tight run for. We'll make it happen though.
If we can't get to Ottawa in 5 days, we're doing something wrong.
We're on electronic logbooks here, Pat. What do you expect? Come on.
Oh, fuck yeah. We talked about that today.
3 days.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I remember that. You guys, I was just implementing those into my new company when I was working for them. I was just putting in the logbooks and getting all our drivers trained up on those. That's right.
I've been on them for 4 years now, so I'm well in tuned on them.
Yeah, a lot of people were getting them.
If because of the logbook situation, we arrive in Ottawa on Saturday the 29th, would that be an end of the world thing, or do we push hard to try to see if we can be there for Friday? Because it's going to be a late haul. We'll be riding.
No,
late.
you know what? We play it by the traffic and how it all goes. Absolutely, we have to follow the rules, right? We can't look like a bunch of crazy truck drivers on the highway. We got to look like professionals.
So
why
just some
can't
questions.
We just leave our ELDs on the scale? I heard that song.
Keep Trucking has $2,500 deposits on every one of them on my fleet, so I gotta kind of be careful there.
Yeah,
I own mine.
We'll make it to there when we get there. But at the same time, you know, like we'll do live feeds and stuff as we go, so people will understand. You know, when we get there, they'll be able to time it out. But at what's that?
Sorry, jumping in here, just looking at your clock there. Also, one thing I'd like to do is do another meeting or another one of these Zoomy things to talk about what, you guys have mentioned the rolling stop in the local communities, because we know that there's going to be people that can't come. So that's what we want to do, I guess, on our next meeting is those that can't come and they want to do something locally to support and drive, as we're convoying across Canada, then you're going to be doing something locally in your community kind of thing, right? So that makes common sense too. I think there's a lot of interest in doing something like that.
Well, that's what we had is somebody put in there that I think on the day that we arrive in Ottawa, that there's coordinators in each province to have things like such as Joe and yourselves, you know, doing what you're doing to coordinate, you know, on their parliament, their legislative grounds in their own respectable provinces.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be more details coming out, ladies and gentlemen. We still got to hash these out. We're going to be working hard. Today was an absolute mind-boggling day for James and myself. Bridget, you're as well on the phones. We were going crazy. We understand how important this is to everybody else, but we'll have everything figured out. We'll start things up we'll figure out how we're going to pay for all of this. We'll figure out how all the truck stops, all the fuel stops. We're working on bulkers. I've got a couple guys who are saying they might donate a bulker of fuel, big companies that are going to donate a bulker. So I've got people that are willing to fill people up at truck stations and stuff. Just understand, we're going to work these details out, have them all hopefully ratified and hashed out by the middle of next week. But we're not done. We're going to work this through. Now, from this point, I know you guys are truck drivers. You're tired. You want to go get something to eat. You want to go grab something. But I ask at this stage of the game, everybody give us one encouraging, some kind of motivating thought of to motivate people to partake in something like this. Chris, you want to go first?
I just think when Trudeau announces that the microchips are coming, is it going to be too late? Because it's coming eventually. People say it won't, and a lot of this stuff has been way farther than we could have ever imagined.
He's right, guys. He's right, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready? You're going to take that chip? There's something there to think about too, you know. And Joe, what do you got to say, Joe?
Well, Quebec, right? They're getting fined, right? Taxed, fined, all that kind of stuff, right? It's coming. It's gonna be here too, right? So we got to fight against that stuff.
You're absolutely right. You know, you're going to get a tax because you're not vaxxed. So that's going to be the new song. I'm not vaxxed. I got to pay a tax. Right? Dale, what do you want to say to everybody to get them off their asses?
Well, you just think about your children having to grow up through this. You know, like when I was a kid, there's no way that this would have happened. So,
right? He's right. When we were kids, not a chance. No,
your parents sent you to the neighbors to get a cold.
Yeah, exactly. Bridget, give me something, girl.
Well, what are you going to tell your children when they ask you what it was like to live in a free country and why we don't anymore? Right. Did you stand up or did you just let this happen? What are you going to tell them? You're going to tell them you stood up.
She's right, guys. She's absolutely right. James, I know you got something for them. Let's hear it.
Canada, my heart is hurting and I'm tired of it having it hurt. And I would love it if others that are having a broken heart can find it within themselves to ask why they have a broken heart right now. All these families and friendships that have been broken because of what our government, that we, the people, are supposed to control. It's our democracy, not theirs. So if you're wanting to come together to heal relationships and heal your families and heal your jobs and your friendships, it starts with you and it starts with me and it starts with us, all of us together, coming together under the spirit of unity for Canada, for our future. And if not now, when? Now is the time. Okay. And I thank all of these beautiful, beautiful truckers that have taken the steps forward to say now is the time. And I stand together with all of those beautiful truckers that are on this this movement that are willing to go to Ottawa or willing to go to their local communities, stand together in unity, and let's do this. We've got this. Okay, the movement is very, very strong across this country. Right now, I've never had so many positive affirmations to do this convoy to Ottawa than I've gotten over the last 48, 72 hours. So my heart is always there for you, Canada. I know that you're tired of this madness as well. It doesn't make sense. It won't ever make sense. It's not going to stop until we stand up together and make it stop. So I'll see you in Ottawa with bells on. Okay. And no turtles. I don't know where these turtles came from. So I'll leave that with you guys, but I love you all and I respect everyone and I appreciate everyone deeply. Okay.
Thanks, James. And thanks everybody. Just going to jump in here and give you my little 2 cents here, folks. You know, I've said this and everybody hears my voice. Everybody knows what I say when it comes to this stuff. But I'm going to tell you something right now. We have, like James said, families being stripped, the family home being destroyed, businesses going under, truck drivers being harassed, food shortages on the shelves, children being, you know, jabbed for no reason because they don't even get sick from this stuff. We're losing everything that it is to be Canadian at this moment in time. We have a world that is in a downward spiral and chaos. And everybody wants to sit back, bitch about it, and complain about it. But when are you going to get off your asses and actually do something about it? We can sit here and preach on the cameras. We can sit here and preach on the screens. We can do whatever we can. We can file as many documents. But who can actually stand on the right side of history and say, you know what? On January 29th, I stood up for my country. On January 29th, I took back what is mine. And that is my God-given right to be a Canadian fucking citizen and tell this government to shove it up their ass and take their job and shove it up their ass. And you know what? I'm going to eat in a restaurant and I'm going to go shopping. And if I want to take that risk and I don't want to cover my face, then you know what? My body, my choice. But when is it going to be enough for everybody? You know what? These people in this room tonight are telling you they've got it. They're ready. They're ready to go. Are you going to stand back and support them? Or are you going to sit idle and keep bitching about it? This is the time we put an end to this. The end is here. Do you want to take part in this? Do you want to be a part of the historical movement that is going to show the government that, hey, we the people decide? Because that's what you're about to see, folks. And you have that opportunity to partake in this. And we're asking everybody who is able to join to join. This isn't just a friggin' 18-wheeler movement. This is all four-wheelers too. You guys all have the moment in time to sit for the next week and decide what you want to do. And I'm asking everybody out there to get off your asses and get out there, because this is our last shot. If we don't do this now, like Chris said, it's only a matter of time. You're going to have a fucking chip in your arm if you don't already now. It is only a matter of time until we are so far gone down this spiral to hell that this government is going to just make you obsolete. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Pat King. I tell you right now, I'm ready to go. It's time to go. It's time to teach these governments who's the real in control. We hired them. We're going to fire them. Who wants to go give pink slips to politicians? If you want to go and fire these guys, join us. Get on board. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Heart is the center of our gravity. Home is not a privilege that is granted by Her Majesty. A home is our right, a place to raise our family. Home is where we go for tranquility and sanctity. Home is where we feel at peace and we can have some privacy, where I can voice my thoughts and nobody tries to silence me. Home is where commotion turns to settling dust. Home is where we raise our kids to be better than us. And home is more than just a house. Home is where there's unity. Home is where we gather. Home is our communities. Home is the connection that we share when we trust. Home is not about me. Home is about us. Home is the guiding light within that we feel drawn to. Home is the source of our creation we belong to. Let them try with their lies meant to pull us apart. We always find our way home because we know it by heart.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend, they find me friends, they lead me home. And I know no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above, I'm not alone.
Home is our cities, our states, and our countries. Home is the earth below, the sky above me. Home is the truth we instinctively know, helping us to find home everywhere that we go. But there's many false prophets trying to lead us astray, who want to tell us what to do, but not hear what we say. They ignore us while they play their game of righteous pretend, like we don't notice that their rules ain't applying to them. While our children have lost their future, made to cover up their faces, forced to get injections for attendance at their favorite places. Where does it end? When we take to the streets, the government won't call a hearing, they just call the police. And to the faithless stormtroopers, where is your humanity? Just following orders is no excuse for your insanity. It's time to cut the rod out at the source like a cavity. It's time to go home and realize that we're a family.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend, they find me friends, they lead me home. And I know no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above, I'm not alone.
Do you recognize this country? Is this the way you like to live? Constantly harassed to put a mask upon your wife and kids. Cops with riot packs who like to act as if no rights exist. Alive, but we're not really living. What kind of life is this? The world is full of risks, but we don't need protection, cause all of their solutions are much worse than the infection. If we want resolution, we need unity, not politics. Why should we trust somebody who's broken so many promises? But maybe this was meant to be and had to happen all along. The cycle's always spinning and it's darkest right before the dawn. It's funny, to the point of laughing out loud, cause what they said would never happen, well it's happening now. And so many are waking up. Welcome to the front lines. The ones who know behind the clouds will always be the sunshine. You and I see through the lies, no longer alone, and let the compass in our souls guide and carry us home.
All these long and lonely roads, they wind wind and bend. They find me friends, they lead me home. And I know, no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above. I'm not alone. All these lonely roads lead me home. I'm watching love from high above. I'm not alone. All these long and lonely roads, they wind and bend. They find me friends, they lead me home. And I know, no matter where I roam, I'm watching love from high above. I'm not alone. Take me home.
Oh.